Hey everybody. So I originally was going to wait until you guys decided whether you wanted to see me do my kids' hair online or not. And then we had a slight disciplinary issue this morning, in which my 8-year-old decided that she didn't want to take care of her hair. We had a complete and utter meltdown over brushing our hair. Not in this house. So since she doesn't want to take care of it, it's getting cut. Sorry, you guys have to look at like my boobs and my chin for a minute. So she is now losing the privilege of having long hair, because if a girl gets her hair cut in my house, it's a punishment or something broke. The last time she got her hair cut was because she leaned over a candle too far and she singed part of her hair, so we had to go get the damage taken off. But since somebody doesn't want to be a big girl and take care of her damn hair, she's losing it. Sit. I promise I have not harmed my child in any way, except for maybe her ego. Okay. Currently, your face is that way. Thank you very much. This is for your hair to be seen, not your face. Okay. So, we have not... She's due for a shower after this cut. It hasn't been washed in maybe 2 days. But as you can see, she has super fine hair. And even though we brush it and 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 brush it, it still gets tangly really easy. The reason for that is because her hair is naturally curly. And it's pretty hard to maintain at this length, unfortunately. So we're going to go through and cut it so it's easier for her to maintain herself, because she's almost 9 and can barely brush her own hair. So obviously the length is too much for her, and while I have no problem helping her brush her hair, it's also a matter of her learning how to maintain herself. Just a little backstory while I'm combing her hair. She has autism, and we had a feeling about her diagnosis when she was 4, but we didn't really confirm it until about 6 months ago. And she's fairly high functioning for most autistic kids. She has some of the behavioral issues that come with autism. She's also got some of the savant qualities that come with autism. But she's been coping really well. We've been doing a lot of improvements, but part of those improvements are to help her learn to take care of herself. Just because you are different than everybody else doesn't mean that you can't do what everybody else can do. That's the primary thing that we tell her. And so she has simple tasks that she's required to do. She knows she has to go wash her hands, her face, brush her teeth after meals. She knows she's supposed to wake up in the morning and make her bed, get dressed, brush her hair. And it's becoming more and more of a problem to get her to brush her hair, because even the smallest tangle and she freaks out. So as much as I love her really long hair, if she's not going to take care of it, I'm not going to leave it long. Because if she can't take care of it the way it is, then it's not going to grow healthy unless I do it all for her, and it's not going to help her learn anything. So, to all the haters out there that are like, oh, she's only 8, you should be doing it for her, blah, 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 blah. God bless you on however you want to parent. This is how I parent. So we're going to cut it to a shorter length, and I'm going to give her some layers so it's easier to maintain for her. And hopefully, as her hair grows longer again, it'll grow with her, is what I'm aiming for. So that way, as her skill improves, she can choose to keep her length or not. I really wish I had one of those task chairs here, but we don't. Darn it. Oh well. Okay, so I'm going to turn her back around now that I've fully combed out her hair. And you can see how long it is. This is about where her waist is. So it's almost to her waist. When her hair is wet in the shower, it actually goes down to her bum because her hair is curly. So it actually stretches down that far when it's fully weighed down. If you look in the front, this way, then it comes clear down past her chest. So we're just going to shorten this up a little bit. Disclaimer, I am not a professional hairstylist in any way, shape, or form, but I have been trimming her hair since she was born because I've always been afraid, head up baby, I've always been afraid that a hairstylist is just going to get an inspiration and cut too much hair off, you know. I mean, most professional people, I'm going to say like 99.99999% of people are not going to just lop somebody's hair off, but my fear is once it's gone, it's gone. You're not getting that back. So we're going to take some length off. I've got her hair parted just over her ear. Turn a little bit, baby. Try not to face the camera, okay? Because I really need like your hair to be in frame. One of the downsides of really any small child is narcissism. So she really, really likes to see herself. She really likes looking at herself. I mean, what kid doesn't? You give any small child a camera that they can see themselves in and tell me they're not going to stare at themselves. But it does get really hard to do things like take a picture if she's busy staring at herself. So you definitely want to make sure that the hair is fully combed out. Right? Now, there's a couple different ways that you can do this. You got to keep your head up where I put it, baby, okay? Because if you move and I make a snip and that snip is uneven, you're going to lose a lot more hair than you're already losing here, sis, okay? Hello? Am I alone in the room? Yes, ma'am? Okay. There's a couple different ways that you can do this. You can use your comb as your guide, right? Now, the biggest rule that I've learned over the period that I've been cutting her hair and my family's and friends is you can always take more off, but you can't put more back. So even if you think you know the line, like say we wanted to go right at her jaw, even though I know that her jaw is right there, I'm still going to come down like that far to take the first swipe because that way I can slowly work my way up as I'm trying to shape and style her hair. If you just kind of go right at her jawline and go, boom, then it's going to be way shorter by the time you're done. I don't think that we need to do jawline length for her. I think a simple, shorter amount will do just fine. And then she can steadily learn how to take care of it for herself. Baby, you got to stop moving your head because if you end up bawling your eyes out because this is super short, okay, you've already cried about this once today. But if you're not going to hold still and this ends up short like your brother, I don't want to hear you whine about it because I've told you not to move. Haven't I? Yes, ma'am, I have. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and take my ring off because it's messing with the straightness and it's going to bug me. Sorry, babe, if you're watching. I almost never take his ring off, but for this purpose. So another thing that you can do is cut hair when it's damp or wet. Not dripping, just enough that when you brush it through, it stays and holds its form. I'm going to do hers dry. The primary reason being that her hair is really curly, which means that if I cut it, it's fairly straight because we blow dry it when it's cold like it is all the time here. So right now it's blow dried and it's straight, but when her hair gets wet and she takes a shower, even cutting this length, it's going to come up to here and be jaw length when she goes through and gets it wet. So definitely take that into consideration. You know, during cold months, yes, she wears it straight, but that's only out of necessity for her not getting sick and going to bed with wet hair. So I'm thinking probably about that much off. I'm going to go get some marking hair ties because I didn't grab them before. Stay here for a second. That's live, so don't talk to anybody. Okay. So, because mommy was dumb and did not grab all her prep stuff before we got started. Okay. So, what I have are these little, I use them for her little sister. They're these little tiny elastic things. Anybody who had metal braces in the 90s will recognize these. They're just little elastic hair tie things. I got them from Walmart. My youngest daughter has super, super fine hair. So that's all these are. They're just for fine hair. I'm going to use them and starting pretty high, I'm going to do 2 loops in her hair. Sorry, sis. Okay. And then I'm going to drop this loop down to mark where I want it to go. So the thing about this is the reason why I parted at her ears is because a lot of times people will pull the whole half forward and then mark it, or pull the whole half back and then mark it. But look how this is strained here and this part's kinked up here because you don't necessarily want to cut it there. You want it to fall as naturally as you can, which for this hair section is actually going to be over her shoulder. So that's going to give you the truest mark. I'm going to have to do another loop on it because it fell right out of her hair. So make sure when you're measuring out to do your trim that you don't want to have it pulled forward or pulled back. Have it as the most natural that you can as it falls. I'm not even really worrying about her part right now because this is just how her hair combed out. So this is going to hurt because this thing is really tight. But if I didn't do it 3 times, then it wasn't going to stay. So if I pull your hair, baby, I am so sorry. Okay, so see how natural that falls? You really don't want any tension on it. So, and I'm trying really hard not to yank her hair out while I do this. Okay, so see how it's folding down? But if I put it out over her shoulder, it's right there. So this is a lot lower than I wanted to start because I'd rather cut off too little and trim it up after the sections are cut than I'd have to come up here and go, oh, holy ghost, what am I going to do? I don't want her to have a bob. I think that she's good enough to be able to do what we need her to do with her own hair with just a shorter idea. So I'm going to come back here and take the next quarter. So it's going to go straight down the back of her head. Right, like this. Okay. And again, you want to comb it all the way out. Most of the time when we're doing her hair, we use a brush. For trimming, cutting, styling, stuff like that, I'm going to say that I highly recommend using a comb. I can't even say like a good reason why. I really don't know. I just have noticed in my own trial and error that it just seems to work a lot better for getting kinks out and keeping them out. So take another plastic and put it in. And again, you want it to do wherever it's going to fall. So I'm not angling it anywhere. I'm just going to pull straight down. Again, sorry, baby, if I pull your hair. I'm trying not to, okay? I know, I'm sorry. Hold on. Okay, and then just kind of nudge a little. And you just want to kind of look and do like a visual measure. Okay, so this one, I feel just by eyeballing it through the camera, I feel like it's a little lower, but I'd really rather have it lower than too high because I can even it out when I go back around after the first snip. But those are actually pretty close. Okay, so see, and then when it falls naturally. No tension, no anything like that, because if you have tension, then you're going to end up cutting either too far or too short, which is no bueno for anybody. Okay, Mommy, can you rotate? That way. Just keep turning.